Hey my brothers, this is Davey speaking. Welcome to another one of our videos. I got tons of requests here, Davey. Talk about Daniel Ortega. Who is this guy? Who is this devil? Let's get to know this guy. If you didn't know him before, my brother, you were happy and didn't even know it, okay? Who is Daniel Ortega? Let's go. Jose Daniel Ortega Saavedra is a Nicaraguan politician, the current president since 2007, but way before that family. He was president of Nicaragua from 79 to 90 and returned to office in 2006, having been re-elected in 2011, 2016, and 2021. That stands out, right? He was re-elected according to him, his machines, and his institutions. In 2021, his most recent re-election, with the imprisonment of several opponents and rejected by the vast majority of the international community. Do you see any similarity with Brazil? Do you see any similarity? Look who this guy is friends with. He's always been friends with him. Look. With Molusco, my brother. For many years, just so you understand what I'm talking about here, that it's not political bias or anything, this article from Gazeta do Povo was published with an indignant tone on October 5th, 2022. Why does this article have an indignant tone, Davey? The title says it, look. Lula's support for Ortega, the new electoral taboo. I'll read a little bit for you here, look. It's been a while since certain statements can't be made out loud in Brazil without truth inspectors and society's editors wanting to fine, demonetize, censor, or even arrest you. All naturally for democracy. Also in quotation marks, because this Wednesday, Minister Paulo de Tasso Sanseverino from the Superior Electoral Court added another item to the list of taboos, the friendship that unites the former president, the former inmate and ex-convict Lula to the dictator of Nicaragua. So you couldn't say it anymore, my brother. Daniel Ortega, who in his country abolished religious freedom, freedom of expression, and freedom of the press. Do you see any similar behavior to what you see here? Today you have it, whether we like it or not, right? I've already pointed out thousands of Bolsonaro's flaws. You have him, whether you like it or not, as the biggest opposition to the current system. And where is the guy? He's in jail. Until now, we don't know, right? You can take the biggest opponent of the Bolsonaro family, and what are you going to hear? What is the guy going to say? What crime did Bolsonaro commit? He mentions a coup, but how was it actually carried out? No, but they said so because they found a coup memo, some coup minutes, right? But if I write a book here on staging a coup, if I don't put it into practice, is it a crime? The Constitution says no. You can do it now. Plan now. Plan to rob the candy stand. I'll go like this, I'll go like this, I'll distract, and that's it, all right? Did you do it? No? Then it's not a crime. So even if there's an agenda, whatever, there's no crime, and the guy is still in jail. With restrictions that we haven't seen with any other politician. When Molusco himself was in jail, he was dating, he gave interviews, he got visits from whoever he wanted. Bolsonaro isn't even allowed to see his own children. I've mentioned before, this could be God's punishment. He lowered his head too much. If you bow your head too much, you leave your ass exposed. Right? So he's paying for it. But to be fair here, my brother, the treatments are disproportionate. The justice system treated one way and the other another way. And more, what do you see? Censorship of religion. Nowadays, you take the Bible, and if you interpret it one way, it's one thing, but if you interpret it the way it's written, you go to jail. There are already several, what do I call them, my God? Let's just say ill-intentioned people. I was going to use another word, but never mind. I was going to say servants of the devil. But these guys go to church, right? Like regular people, and they stay there filming. Then they ask the pastor or the priest questions. Father, what do you think about this? Women should be submissive. My behavior, look at it here. I'm lying here with another guy. What do you think this is, sir? What does the Bible say? Then he goes there, look. He records and sues according to God. And justice comes after you. Pardon my language, with the beast chasing the person. That's right, my brother, that's what we're seeing. The institutions, they say, our institutions are very strong. To me, that means the whole system is connected. The institutions should be strong and independent, not controlled and working as we're seeing like militias, like literally private bodyguards for certain powerful people. And that's what we're seeing. enforcing justice and coming down hard on whoever they want. See, you saw the same thing here. He banned, right, religious freedoms. This isn't freedom of religion. It's the freedom that Christianity brings, because Christianity sets you free. When you pick up the Bible and start reading it, it's actually hard to stay in any institution, right? Why? Because you'll see that what Christ himself preaches, what the Bible teaches, is very different from what practically all religions convey within their religious denominations. So true Christianity, when you understand it, it sets you free. And it becomes, you know, an affront to a totalitarian system is the same thing that China is doing. China has been arresting pastors, priests, and so on. Why? Because they see in the speeches of Christians, that is the Christian doctrine, an affront to the regime itself, which wants to take the place of God. So there, he did the same thing, you know. So here, the article said the following: you can't even talk about this in public anymore. Yeah, they're upset here because several of their pages were taken down, right? And then he quotes Gazeta do Povo. You can't even talk about this in public anymore, so Twitter and Facebook were forced to remove it. In other words, right? The judge took an interest in this and ordered about 30 posts to be removed that highlighted the alliance between Lula, who was a candidate at the time, and this dictator, right? One of these posts was made by Gazeta do Povo on its Twitter profile to report the suspension of the channel, which has an ad here in front. Let me see, I removed it from the CNN television network in the Central American country. Right on the first page of the decision, São Severino mentioned the post by several social media profiles. Manifestly untrue content spreading the misinformation that the candidate Luis Inácio Lula da Silva supported. The invasion of churches would persecute Christians as well as support the dictatorship in Nicaragua, adding that, according to the petition from Lula's coalition, the posts seek to associate the candidate Lula with strong support for an authoritarian regime that persecutes Christians. And wisely, it is indeed true. So the court here, right, this so-called São Severino, took Lula's side and acted not as a judge, right? Who will see? No. But the guy really supports him. The guy had photos, images with him. He does. The guy was always there. He was. The guy is his friend. Yeah. So, man, there's nothing to say. At the same time, calling Bolsonaro genocidal was normal, right? But he said all that nonsense back then during the pandemic, so it's allowed. In other words, my brothers, literally, right? It was like the tail wagging the dog. So, in light of everything that was done, an intervention literally in the result, it stuck, right? The narrative that Molusco won. I say that's just a narrative, but anyway. And now, why are we talking about this guy? Because from then on, what we've seen since then is the Trump phenomenon. Trump is going all out. Is he going all out for Brazilians? No, he's not Brazilian. He's not the president of Brazil. He's going all out to boost his own nation, and that's what a president has to do. That's why I say go for it, Trump, right? Daniel Ortega was calling all the shots over there, as you can see from the information itself, right? Since 1979, he's been doing whatever he wanted there. Then he'd say, no, let's have an election. I won. When the people started to revolt, to realize they couldn't stand the regime anymore, inflation, organized crime taking over, because the left is the same everywhere. It's no wonder they're building the great homeland. It's no wonder they're conspiring against the United States to remove the dollar from international trade. Trump has already said that this is worse, right, than losing a war. They're working on it, and this guy's involved too. He's a comrade, right? A comrade. So this comrade, Daniel Ortega, he's been in charge there since 1979 and kept saying, no, I held the election here. I won because the institutions are under his control. Sound familiar? But what just happened recently? Maduro did the same thing. Maduro also said, I won. I held the elections here and I won. He had the opposition arrested when they said, no, we were the ones who won. He went and had them arrested. The people who went to protest in the streets, he ordered them to be killed. He shot at the people point blank, right? Neither the international nor Brazilian media likes to mention that. But he did it. We have footage showing people recording. So, my brothers, what happened from then until now in that period that changed everything? Trump gets elected in the United States, goes after them, uncovers the fraud and says, you didn't win, you're going to be arrested, you bum. And he arrested the guy, went in there and arrested him. So Daniel Ortega knows that if he puts out another fake result, the United States will say, you didn't win, and will arrest him again. Just like they did with Maduro family. They're going to do the same thing. So he's already getting ahead of it. Man, if I use Maduro's tactic of saying I was elected without actually being elected, and I won't be if everything is done fairly, the United States will come here and get me. I'm not going to make it easy for them. I'll extend my term, and that's what he did. I actually want to show you this article here so you can pay close attention. It's a short piece from CNN. Just so we can take a look here, folks. This little bit right here. Which was exactly what he did. He extended his term to 6 years. See how cunning that guy is. Watch, I'll show you.
Ortega has been governing Nicaragua since 2007. Daniel Ortega announced today that the country will no longer have elections. Ortega has been governing Nicaragua since 2007, and he ruled out the possibility of holding new elections to prevent the opposition from coming to power. The president said that the opponents are lurking and want to take power for profit. For years, critics and international observers have denounced electoral fraud and lack of civil liberties in the country. Nicaragua was supposed to hold general elections in November, but the National Assembly approved constitutional reforms to extend the presidential term for another 6 years. With that, the next elections would only take place, to increase the term to 6 years. And then, the new election would only take place in November 2027. But now Ortega says that elections simply won't take place. A typical statement from a dictator.
So this rotten media here, CNN, which has even been kicked out of there too, right? At no point do they make any connection to Lula. They don't do that. And in their footage, they show the people there as if there were a huge crowd with this guy. You just have to look, right? The excitement of these people while he's talking, it's the same excitement you see at a funeral, right? You see it with a corpse. So my brother, honestly, I think Brazil has been in this situation for a long time now too. It's just that because things are bigger here, they manage to be more discreet. But I think in Brazil, we've been in this situation for a long time now. When I see, for example, the behavior of that bum, you know, Flavio Bolsonaro, I even start to wonder if there wasn't some kind of deal between them. Look, put up a weak candidate. We need another 4 years. You guys hold on for these 4 years. I've even seen people connected, you know, to the right, the so-called fake Brazilian right. They're already preparing for the next ones, not these, but for 2030. So it seems like something like that was done, you know, my brothers. Anyway, want some advice? Look to the neighboring countries. Paraguay is doing very well. Argentina is recovering. There's Chile. Here, my brother, I know there are people who get pissed off about this. No, Davi, we have to fight here for our country. But how are you going to fight? Look at the people of Nicaragua, unarmed people. People worried about whether they'll have something to eat tomorrow. Organized crime taking over. Do you see any similarity here with Brazil? If I add a few more sentences about what I think, I'll get arrested. The immoral one sends people to come get me. You no longer have freedom of speech, and there's no point in blaming the platforms. YouTube, Twitter, they're not to blame. What are they supposed to do? How many times have they been and are still being pressured to censor more and more? If they don't do it, they could lose the right to operate in our country. No point blaming them. It's our fault, brother. We accepted this. This fake opposition exists for that purpose, which is the worst part. It serves as an anesthetic, right? No, wait, let them try. Let's see, let's support them. You're playing the fool. These guys, even if they were elected, wouldn't do anything. Consider Bolsonaro's government. After being stabbed, he backed down, realizing things would get difficult. The attack happened because people believed he would fulfill his campaign promises. When he got stabbed, he realized there was more to it, right? That there was something fishy going on. So he lowered his head and approved thousands. That's why there are lists of betrayals. If you read the list of betrayals, there are thousands of issues that are from the far left. Not even the left has the courage to propose them, like, for example, what Flavio is doing now, wanting to, right? Give women cell phones? No, let's give women free cell phones. How much does a phone cost today? 700 reais for the most basic one. Suppose he forms a partnership with companies and reduces it to 400 reais. 30 million cell phones, let's say 70 million cell phones, how much would that be? At 400 reais each. It's simply unaffordable. It would cost millions. So, there's no way to pay for that. But why does he make a proposal like that if not even the left itself is doing it? Because that's how it is. A fake opposition works like that. Now look, there are people who say this. You guys are ignorant, okay? You are ignorant, Davi. And that's called the political game. That's what they say. But he's not going to do it. He's doing this just to get elected. Man, unfortunately, the dumb one is you. Because getting elected is the easy part. The hard part is governing. The hard part is what's called governance. If he's already bowing his head just to be a candidate, imagine when he has to bargain to get something approved. What is this guy going to approve? He'll act like his father, or maybe even worse, right? If Bolsonaro already gave in to a bunch of absurd things just like the left itself. Bolsonaro's government approved LGBTQ and feminist rights, something even Dilma's government hadn't done. And Flavio shows he'll do the same if he's elected. He's going to be in big trouble. Man, my brother, if there's any chance to change things, he has to come in, blow the whole thing up and say, look, I'm going to create a rule. I'm going to overturn the disarmament statute. I'll stop these gods of Olympus and put them back in their box. But that's not how the guy wins. It's the people who want to hear this. The people want to hear this. Now, who really has the courage to actually do this and propose it? That's the problem. So, since I don't see this scenario here in Brazil, I'll tell you, spend your energy, your youth, especially those of you who are 35 or younger. My brother, look for another country. My brother, this is still 50 years away. Our generation won't see this. If you're already over 40 like me, forget it, my brother. This place is going to sink more and more. This is going to be the cradle of socialism. This country is under a curse. My friend Arthur Pinheiro sending you a hug. I needed you to call because my sister has been discharged and is home now. Thank God. Arthur asked the brothers to pray for her. So I want to thank Vinicius Resende, Maria and Idabel, who is his aunt, and also his mother, Helena Pinheiro. And everyone from the church. He didn't tell me their names here, but I also really thank everyone who has been praying there, all right? Thank God she's at home. She's gotten better. And that's it, my brothers. So if it weren't for that, I would have already left, family. I'm already ready to go, thank God. Now I just need to sell the old car. I'll even advertise it here for you all later. Yeah, I've already sold the motorcycle. I've already sold the pickup truck. As you guys know, that was back then, right? So I have a couple of things here to sell before I leave for good. Right? Because that's it. I'm talking to you here like brothers, my brothers. I don't make a script here, for God's sake. I have to say this because it gets people involved. No, I'm just having a conversation here among friends because that's how I see you. Many of you have treated me better than a lot of my own family and friends. So, my brother, this is what I can do. It's what I'm going to do, right? So, about Davy, I think that's nonsense. I think it's cowardly. I disagree, but I respect your opinion. But honestly, my brother, I think you're going to waste your time here, all right? I think if you have a child, especially a daughter, you have an obligation to leave the country. You have that obligation. I don't know what you do, but you can do it, right? God made it that way. You see that throughout the whole Bible, right? I've already said that. Yeah, if you look at the Old Testament, look at the New, God always took his people out of that place. When things get really bad, he doesn't make an angel appear and solve the problem with magic. He takes his people out of there. Get out of there, my people. So that's it, my brother. Are you going to stay here? Are you going to insist on staying here? Then adapt, right? Do like some people have done. Adapt yourself, right? If you had dreams of having, I don't know, a 4-cylinder motorcycle, a V8, a turbo car, forget it, right? Be content with the basics. Settle for an electric car. Accept the risks that come with it and go. Just go like that. Stop stressing out because that's how it is, right? Do you think Nicaraguans would revolt if they could? But the people are unarmed, fragile, economically speaking, and emotionally as well. You see how many people have depression, right? You see it in the series, the movies, the soap operas. Men are now shy. Yeah, they're cheated on. They have no authority. There's nothing left to inspire people, right? Even movies aim to make men more effeminate and weak. The man who has always been the head of revolutions. Let your wife run the house. You must accept being cheated on, support her, and stay silent, or it's seen as abuse. I keep thinking of single men now, including my own son. Find a local girl, my brother. I know there are good women, even here on the channel, right? But most of them are already taken since they're rare, right? For those still out there, my brother, I have family. I wanted to do a live stream with you all later, but I can't since they took that right from the channel, even though I've never done one. But man, I wanted to talk to you all directly, but damn, man. I keep thinking that if you're single out there, you should marry a girl here in Brazil with the mindset she has, with the friends she has. There's a 90% chance you'll be cheated on, man. It's sad. Anyway, God bless you, my brothers. We'll chat later. Take care. God bless you. I'm out.